Okay. So first of all, I want to thank everybody who's watching this for watching this. This is a brand new project for me. I'm interviewing women of a certain age, over 50 years of age, because I think that we're all pretty special and we have a lot to offer. And all of us older women are doing amazing things. And I think people should know about that. So my first guest is Johanna Nader. Is it Johanna? Am I saying
It's
that?
Johanna.
Johanna Nader. Okay, I will say that from now on. And Johanna, I'm going to start on asking you a very personal question. How old are you?
65. Gonna be 66 on February 28th.
Oh, we got a birthday coming up. That's nice. That's nice. How do you feel?
Amazing. Very excited. Yeah, a lot of cool astrological things going on for me now, this year in particular. So I'm really just getting in the flow as best I can.
Excellent. I think we're all thinking or hoping or planning on having a more positive year this year. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know about you, but 2023 was not great for me. I had some real
No, you had lots of
issues,
tragedies.
but yeah, I think and from what I understand, there was a lot of people that had a bad year of it. So I don't know how was your year? Was it good?
I don't tend to remember bad things. So
Okay.
I don't know. I'm
Okay.
sorry, I can't answer that very
You weren't
succinctly.
no frustration, but you were doing okay.
Oh, yeah, I was doing okay.
Okay, well, that's good. All right, so I'm going to ask you, it says here that you are a classroom, or are you still a classroom teacher?
No, no, I retired in 2016.
Okay, what did you teach? In what grade?
Um, Everything except second grade.
Okay, so
So,
mostly
uh,
elementary school
and middle school.
and
I
middle
taught
school. Okay.
science, 6, 7, 8 for
Oh, okay.
5 years.
That was fun, I'll bet.
Oh, it was my favorite. Yes.
Was it?
Um, a lot of people grimace when you say middle school,
Yeah.
but they're really fun. Their their little brains are working and they're still ready to learn. Eighth
Hmm.
grade gets kind of iffy, but sixth grade, oh yeah.
They're still curious. They want to know things.
Yes, yeah, and science is fun. I mean, I like it,
Mhm.
so I guess that, my enthusiasm hopefully inspired them.
Right. I like science too. When I went back to college, I was a late bloomer. I started in my 40s
Wow,
and
good for you.
I didn't know exactly what I was going to do, but I was taking all of my, the classes you have to take,
Right.
uh, so one of them was biology, and I thought, oh, I was not happy about that. But oh, it was my favorite class, and it changed helped me decide what I wanted to do with my, degree. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I love it too. It's very interesting, and it's inspiring too.
Oh, it is. Yes. I, it just brings big questions to mind.
Hmm.
And for me, I'm a lifelong learner. So I'm always seeking for spiritual or scientific connections and answers.
Okay. So what sort of things have you investigated or um in
Well,
recently?
yeah, okay. Uh, actually, recently with Imbolc and Groundhog's Day, just
Okay.
being yesterday,
Yeah.
and the legend around that 6 more weeks of winter when he sees his shadow, or spring is right away when he doesn't see his shadow. Um, the science behind it, uh, I've my interpretation because I can't really find anything. Um, online because they kind of focus on the prediction.
Okay.
And for
Right.
me, all science is
Yeah.
based on observation,
Mhm.
and ancient peoples observed, and that's how they created their myths and later on their science. So at some point, it was observed that on Imbolc, if it was cloudy and maybe rainy, that spring might come early, and a cold, dry, sunny day meant winter was
Oh,
going to hang on.
okay,
And,
sure.
to me, that makes perfect sense
It
because when you
does.
think about dry, sunny days, they're cold.
They are
They're
very
cold.
cold. Yeah.
And the cloud cover and the humidity of a nice day, a nice cloudy day, is tends more to heat the earth, and that's what heats the
Oh, it is.
atmosphere.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
It does
so
make perfect sense when you
it
think of
it
it. It makes,
does when you
yeah.
think about it. And
Mhm.
but if I think our ancestors and our elders knew a lot more and know a lot more
Mhm.
than we do. Science can only take you so far, of
Yes.
course. So,
Yes. Well, I always feel that way too because when you look at architecture, for instance, the old castles and all the gingerbread and decorative, pieces on the exterior of the buildings. Who thought of that, and how did they do it when they're like so huge? These buildings are so huge, and it's just
right.
amazing to me. I'm not sure that we would have the time or the talents to do something like that now.
Indeed,
The talents,
indeed. And that speaks to
the
art
materials.
too,
Hmm.
and
Yeah,
how important that was to our ancestors. We needed
right.
to make beautiful things.
Yes.
And
We always want to do that, right?
yeah.
And speak to people, speak to
Hmm.
ourselves.
Hmm.
Um, so you were teaching in public school, and then you said I can do what I tried and wanted to do in public school teaching, I can do now on my own. So what are you doing now?
Um, I I'm facilitating a Wednesday night circle called Circle of Stones. And for me, teaching is all about, and especially now, is creating the container for what is, inside the student or the participant, creating a safe, um, inspired container and asking the right questions. I'm very Socratic. And yeah, I think people's innate knowledge and understanding takes them a long way. Um,
Okay.
I may I was in a pottery class and I made a replica of an 8 ball. And you know how
Oh,
you
okay.
shake it and you ask a question and you turn
Yeah.
it over and it says some vague thing. So mine on the bottom says, "You already know." So this is your question. You
Oh,
already know the answer.
that's
Um,
great.
so, and
I love that.
I, before my students would take a test, I always wrote on the board, trust yourself.
Hmm.
You already know what you need to know. So I just think,
Oh, way to
that's what
encourage and
makes
support.
sure that exactly.
Yeah.
And, children as well as adults need to hear that all the answers are within.
Hmm.
All,
It's true.
all.
That's true. You just have to sit down and listen
Exactly.
to the questions. And then, okay, so I see that um you married Mr. Wonderful.
I did. After Mr. Meh,
Well, we'll talk
I
about him.
found, and I had two beautiful children. I found Mr. Wonderful. That's my husband, Tony.
But you say
And
that you're opposites in many ways, but you're also very compatible. So how does that work for you?
Well,
How does it-
absolutely. Astrologically, we're opposite. I'm a Pisces, he's an Aries,
Okay.
and the
Oh, yeah.
just our core beliefs and our personality. Um, I'm not really sure that's right, but Pisces are always kind of underwater, just hanging out in the ether and in
Mhm.
the depths.
Yes.
And Aries are analytical
Hmm.
and this is what I see, this is what the data shows, and um I so needed that when I met him. Um
One
because
kind of
he
helps the other.
stabilized. I'm sorry.
One kind of helps the other.
Exactly, exactly. He stabilizes me and gets me to, come up from the water once in a while and look at things from a different, from an analytical point of view instead of a ethereal point of view. And yeah, and I've softened that a little bit in him, I think, so he's not just all data driven. He's very intuitive as well.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So,
I did not know
yeah, we
that.
take
Yeah.
care of each other.
Yeah, that's good. And that's what you're supposed to do, right?
True.
That's right. I also want to backtrack just a little bit because you also do the Goddess Temple on
Yes.
Sundays, the first Sunday of each month, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you. And that has been just a percolating kind of dream for me for a long time.
Mhm.
And I tend to create things because I can't find them. So I couldn't find a women's spiritual circle, so I created one, Circle of
There you go.
Stones. And I wanted a place to learn and not worship so much, but um, venerate and love the different goddesses that have been created by our ancestors. And there are so many. I try to pull from different pantheons.
Hmm.
I did a couple of Greek goddesses. Now this will be, I'm presenting or facilitating Saint Bridget or Bridget
Yeah.
on Sunday, and before
Mhm.
that it was the Kaliach,
Oh, yeah.
and they
Yeah,
just kind of weave together that way.
that was
Um,
lovely. That
oh,
I attended that and that was just lovely. Rocky and I both enjoyed that so much.
I'm so glad.
Yes, and we do intend this Sunday we agreed to hold the direction for another Imbolc
Oh,
celebration.
nice.
So we won't be able to come, but we have it on our calendars first Sunday of each month because
Oh, I
it was just
appreciate that.
wonderful. We really enjoyed it very much.
Well, I wish I could join you on Sunday. You and Rocky create such beautiful.
Well, this
Um,
isn't ours. This is a friend of ours. She's got a
oh,
place out in, it's in, I guess that's still, maybe it's Huron Township, I'm pretty sure, but
mm-hmm, mm,
it's called Crossing Hedgerow Farm. And she is an inspiration to me because I'm rewilding the back from the back of the house to the woods. That's all
mm,
been rewilded, and she is the inspiration for that because she's done such a beautiful job. She's got like 20 some acres. And she's
mm,
rewilded quite a bit of it, and she's trying to make it into a sanctuary. But oh my gosh, just a lovely, lovely place. So
mm-hmm.
I'm rambling on, but anyway, so that's she's having Invoke there, and so we're gonna.
Oh, that sounds so amazing.
It,
Yeah, I'd love to keep in touch with her offerings, and of course I know your offerings, you and
Mhm.
Rocky
Yeah,
on the Greenwood. It's
yeah.
fantastic.
Well, I would love for you to see her place.
Hmm.
It's wonderful. So if she ever has something that you can attend, then I will definitely let you know.
I
Uh,
appreciate that.
yeah,
She
because
sounds
it's
like someone who would be good on your series here too.
Yes,
That,
she will be
mm,
for sure. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, she's inspired me so much with her knowledge of, you know, um, plant life and how to go about rewilding and all of
mhm,
that. And the only
mhm.
thing I'll say more about it is in 2022, I saw one uh, monarch butterfly. And last year, having we rewilded it, um, I saw over 30. So that was like, yes, see, it's just, it makes my heart happy and
Mhm, mhm.
it's beautiful. It's, you see the the differences between the plant life. Like it starts out with the dandelions, then it goes to the clover and on and on. It's just wonderful. It's just an interesting thing. I find it so fascinating.
Love that.
Yes,
Yes. That
yes.
progression.
Hmm.
And just the whole metaphor of rewilding, I
Yes.
think speaks a lot to us as people,
Mhm.
and particularly women. We
Yes.
and us crones,
Hmm.
um, we're in a rewilding phase of ourselves where we're just kind of letting things be within ourselves and um, allowing that wild part of ourselves to emerge.
Yes, yes. Letting go of the
Yes,
old
right.
and embracing the new because we're closer to spiritual. I feel like we are closer to spiritualism and feeling I don't know how to put it, but feeling
Mm-hmm.
things environmentally and physically and spiritually that are going on. We accept or hear it or feel it a bit more. I don't know if we
Mm-hmm.
do it more, but it seems like I know I do, speaking for myself.
When you let go, like you said, of
Hmm.
what used to be important in your youth and middle years,
Hmm.
you can just so much attune
That's
to
so true.
what's around you, you
Hmm.
know? Hmm. Yeah, just letting go of the importance, at least for Crohn's in our society and in this day and age, letting go of the need to people please
Yeah.
and give a fig about what anyone says about you, but also giving your heart to, other things, the wild,
Hmm.
personal growth,
Yes.
goddess veneration
Hmm.
that, speak to your soul. And you don't have to worry about all that external
The
chatter
chatter.
so
Yeah.
much. Yeah.
Yes. That's so true. Well, we both know historically that, and I'm just going to say this for everyone that listens, and they probably know too, but historically, women after of a certain age were kind of cast out of society. They were either used um, as a babysitter for taking care of the younger kids. But once you're past being able to produce children, then you're not so useful anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So then they would either cast them out into the woods or, you're a witch, we want your property and take
Mm-hmm.
that away. And just that sort, there was no respect, um, no caring or, or being thankful for everything that she had done in the past, it's just,
Sure.
you're on
The
your own.
the growth that she fostered, exactly.
Hmm.
Um, and I think an aspect of that is how invisible women of our age become.
Oh,
Um, we're no longer valued by a society that values outward appearance or um, baby making ability or monetary gain, in capitalism. And I say that totally aware of the face I put out there. And I just
mhm.
want to speak a little bit about why I look the way I do, why I choose to dress the way I do.
Okay,
Um,
sure.
you know, um,
I think you're beautiful.
well,
And I love what you wear. You're,
thank you. I do
you are,
too.
Um, you are one of a kind, and that's how, how you dress, and that's the way you should. We should all do that. We should all be braver. I'm thinking about dyeing my hair like the peacock colors, blue
Ooh,
and green,
do. Yes, that purple,
That's
um, turquoise
blue and green line.
flow. Oh,
Yeah,
you should.
I just think it would be
But
pretty.
yeah, it comes from, I believe this comes from a place of I will not be ignored. I'm not invisible.
Hmm.
Bright hair, big earrings. When
Yeah.
I was a teacher, I adopted big earrings and
Okay.
bright clothes. And that was a way I always said for to draw the students' attention.
Hmm.
It's like, look, listen to me.
Yes.
Here I am.
Here
I'm
I
talking and I'm
am.
telling you something really important. So, um, but yeah, it gives me it, it's an expression of that, I guess, that kind of, and I think I don't know if I mentioned this in my mini biography. I feel like I'm kind of a rebel without a clue, but
Oh,
I'm just I have this really rebellious nature. Like this is how you want me to dress? Pfft, no.
not
This
doing
is, you want me to be quiet? Uh, I'm gonna laugh really loud. I'm gonna tell you my opinions,
it.
whether you want to hear them or not.
Mhm.
That's one thing
Oh, yeah.
that gets me in trouble sometimes.
Well, yeah. I kind of do the same thing. And yeah, and it can, but you're
So
it's
what?
it's sometimes it's not even you saying it, it's coming from somewhere else and it just comes out. And that happens a lot. It's like whoosh, and I say it and it's like, oh, I probably shouldn't have said that, but I couldn't help myself. It just came out,
Sure. You were channeling
I think
something,
so.
important that needed
Yes,
to be said.
that needed to be
And
said. Sure.
right. It
Does that
it
happen to you?
reminds me of that poem, Warning, where the first line is, "When I'm an old lady, I shall wear purple and a big red hat that doesn't go." I don't know if you know that poem.
Oh, no, I don't. I don't.
Oh, you should look it up. It's beautiful. So, it was written in 1961, which is a couple years after my birth year,
Okay.
and it just talks about the freedom of being a crone, an elderly woman,
Mhm.
a woman who has become invisible, and just, putting on her purple dress and her red hat and eating what she wants and sitting down on the sidewalk when she's tired, uh,
Yes.
just being unconventional.
Yes.
And at the very end, the poem kind of transitions to, but I'm not an old lady yet. And, there's still bills to pay and there are still children to raise, but maybe I ought to practice. So that by the time I am, an old woman,
Mhm.
I'll people won't be quite so surprised and shocked.
Yes.
So I just love
I
that.
love
It's
that. That's
just
a
such
great
a
idea.
cool.
Yeah, it's a great poem. Who wrote that? Do you know? Write that down.
Jenny somebody.
Okay.
Sorry,
That's okay. That's okay.
I can
So
send it.
you said that as a child you were a
Jenny
weirdo.
Joseph. I'm sorry. As a child, what?
You were a weirdo.
Mm-hmm.
So how were you a weirdo?
Well, I was an only child, and both my mother supported us. My father had mental health issues,
Okay.
and in the 50s and 60s, that was really odd.
Yeah,
Um,
that was kind
only
of a
childness, at least where
taboo.
I grew up. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
My poor mother did her best, being raised on women's salary
Yes, yes.
because she was not making the same money that a man would. And
Sure.
So, as an only child, I spent a lot of time alone, but I relished that because I just had this imagination and I loved to play being different people, kind of.
Okay.
And when I would um, explore that or be that with my peers, what,
What are you doing?
why are you like that?
Oh,
And I not, not fitting in because what everybody else was doing was boring
hmm.
and conventional. And I always push the envelope in terms of conventionality, I guess. And that was, like I said, I spent a lot of time alone, but that peer non-acceptance was very isolating too. So it was
Yes,
painful.
it
It was
is.
painful, but I just couldn't. I I just couldn't. It
Mhm.
was too against my nature to
Okay.
for one thing, to wear my hair long with a middle part, that
Yes.
was the look.
Oh, yeah, it was.
I I never wore my hair long.
No.
Um, it just it just wasn't me. So, and I was tall and gangly and always loved to share or show off my knowledge, you know.
Okay.
Always being the one to raise my hand and to give the right answer and at a time, when you're a preteen, that was just not cool
Yeah.
for
Mortifying.
girls or boys.
Yes.
Um, and I just couldn't help it. I love to learn things. I love to share what I know. Um, Maybe I
Did
like to
you
show off what I know.
did you have an honor society in school when you were in school? And were you a member
I
of?
suppose, yeah, yeah, I did. There was an honor society, you said?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. In high school. That would have been in high school.
yep, yep. Not really aware of it.
Okay.
Um, I did okay, but I always wanted to follow my own path and study and learn what I wanted to learn. But
Yes.
in high school, I was grateful that I could gravitate to music,
Okay.
theater. That's um that's kind of where it was okay to
To be a little
be
different.
different,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, oddball. I wear that as a badge of honor now,
Well,
believe me.
good. That's
Yeah.
good. No, you should. That's really good. So in your teens was kind of the same thing as in your earlier years. You still, but you said you tried so hard to fit in, but it just didn't work out for you. Um, how what kind of things did you do to try to fit in?
Mhm. Oh, all the normal things. The way I dressed, you know, was the convention of the day, which was really short skirts and
Okay, yeah.
the hair.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, and I wasn't a sports person.
No.
I took dance, and like I said, the music was really my love. I took piano lessons until I was 18, and I got really good. In fact, I was a music major in college for 1 year, and
Gosh, it
that,
sounds like me.
yeah.
Yeah, same here. I started taking lessons when I was about 7 years old until
Mm-hmm.
I was about 18, and I did go as a music major for 1 year, and then I dropped out because I was in a band after that, and I thought I knew everything. So I just thought I don't need that, so that kind
True. Yes, I can hear myself say that. Exactly. God. Um, I love the classics,
of.
but I didn't like to practice. I mean, who does? I just
Oh,
rather
see.
diddle around. So, yeah, fitting in was, I mean, for who doesn't want to fit in, in
Yeah.
their teenage years. And
But like me, I mean, not to keep going back to me, but I feel like I feel the same way. And you would try to fit in with a certain person or group, and it never quite worked out.
no,
It was
right.
never, and you never quite understood the friendship thing. How does that work, you know? It's just it's I guess for me it was a question of trust. Trusting.
Mm,
I don't know
mm-hmm.
about you, but for me it was trusting people enough to be a close friend, I think. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So,
That's interesting. Um, where I grew up in Ann Arbor was
mhm,
uh, socioeconomically segregated,
okay.
and it still is, and
Mhm,
it's also one of the most racially segregated places. Washtenaw County is one of the most racially segregated counties in the state, and one would question that because U of M and liberal
yeah,
education and all that, but the opposite is true. So
yeah.
um, I grew up very working class
Mhm,
on um, on kind of the poor side of town or whatever. So in terms of material wealth, we didn't have a lot.
mhm,
My mother made a lot of my clothes. She did her best, given our financial straits, to uh, help me fit in, at least in terms of what I wore. But
mhm,
there was always this weird little girl who said the wrong thing, didn't stop, didn't stop speaking up, said what was on her mind.
mhm,
The whole and when I think about it now, it's I didn't fit in with the societal expectations of femininity or what being female meant
mhm,
in the 60s and 70s. I mean, again, you would assume that after the second wave feminism, I read Gloria Steinem and Germaine Greer and
yes,
um, all the other authors in the 70s when I was in college.
yes.
And I expected to find like-minded peers then, but no.
No,
It's
no.
still, yeah, yeah. Why are you such a feminist? Like it was a bad word,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
But it was who I was, and I couldn't just suppress that and, kind of be white bread.
Yeah. And accept everything the way well, that's just the way it
Yes.
well,
And
it
not
doesn't have to be
question.
that way.
Exact. Right.
So,
Right.
yeah, that's true. Yeah. Funny, that's funny, but true. So you said you were bullied for your strangeness?
Yes. Well, the non-acceptance for one thing, but um, I was never beaten up, although that was threatened. Um,
She
I was lucky. Like
yeah.
I said, it was very working class and it was the 70s and kids were,
So mostly verbal?
yes, yeah, verbal shunning. Um,
Oh, yeah, no, I get that. Yeah, that's
and
true.
actually I remember a kid I thought was my friend walking behind me in the hall, lighting matches and throwing them at me. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
What
what?
did I
What?
do? There was always this, what did I do to deserve this kind of thing.
Oh,
And the 70s in school were just nuts. There was,
that's true.
um, in my high school, they turned the snack bar into the smoking lounge.
Hmm.
So kids were smoking in school
Mhm.
in a designated area. What? A
Oh
designated
no.
area. There was
I
no
mean,
like
I was a
smoking in the
smoker
girls'
back
room.
then, and
Oh, were you?
we had a designated smoking area. It was outside in the
Yeah.
sheltered
Wow.
area. But yeah, because they didn't want us smoking in the bathrooms, which is where everybody would smoke. I know it was wrong of me, but I was a
No, no.
teenager.
Well,
But
no,
you
that's
didn't
not
want
even it.
anybody to
That's
smoke
just
in the
like,
bathroom. There were people who had actual breathing problems and needed to use the bathroom. How dare they, infringe on my smoking area? But you know, so they sent us outside. We were all like incensed about that. But there was a huge group of people that would stand out there and smoke at lunchtime. It
that
was,
was
yeah,
cool. That
it
was a
was, I
cool
know.
person thing to do.
Yes. Oh, well,
Yeah.
I was cool. I could
Yeah. Good
no,
for you.
that cool. I was
You
never
you
cool.
figured out a way to fit in. I grew up with two people that smoked like chimneys from, when they were teenagers. So I grew up with all that secondhand smoke and
Oh,
could
yeah.
never pick up the habit. It would just,
Oh,
I'd had enough,
yeah. Well,
from home.
my dad smoked. So I had someone in my family. My mom didn't smoke, but my dad did. And then my grandfather smoked. So there was smokers,
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
well, they smoke, I'm gonna smoke too, it was silly.
Yes,
My
exactly.
great aunt smoked. There was a lot of smokers in my family. They're
Well,
all
it was
gone
the
now.
thing. When they were coming up, that post World War II, whatever that was, new freedom. Well, yeah, it was the
Yes,
thing, and that was a way that women could, I don't know, be more on a level with men
yes.
in those
More
horrible.
sophisticated.
That's it
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I would say so. So you're still a vocal feminist, you're saying here. Um, you felt like a fish out of water. So this is in college. So you just didn't feel like we've covered that you didn't feel like you belonged and okay. So,
Yeah, yeah. It was a
oh,
time when I wanted male attention, I guess, and I was too outspoken and too feminist, and
so did you,
so on that.
so then this I just have to read because it's so funny. It was the beginning of disco, that dull, soulless music. It
It
was
was the
terrible.
Oh my God. The big Say that again. I can't remember what I
Well,
wrote. The
you
beginning
said
of disco.
it was the beginning of disco, that dull, soulless music, and anti-feminism bullshit beginning to take over.
Absolutely. Um, eh, Disco is incredibly sexist. Not that music before that wasn't, but it shocked me because I thought, it's the 70s. Yeah, we're uppity women unite, right?
Yeah.
Um, and it was such a backlash. That was the thing.
Well,
Such a backlash against us that didn't wear bras and, said, damn the man. Um, so yeah, and we went back to swirly skirts and
yes.
hair
The had the big hair.
and high heels. Oh
I
my
know.
God. Yeah. And it was vapid. It was
Mhm.
nothing. There's no soul to any of the disco songs.
No,
Um,
terrible. And I feel like music, just as a musician, um, uh, keeps getting more and more simplified. And maybe that, I don't know, Beethoven always said simplicity was the key. So
mhm,
maybe there's something to it.
hmm.
I don't know. It's hard to say, but disco was especially disconcerting. It was terrible. So,
Yes. Disconcerting, that's good. And bless you for your open-mindedness. I love talking to you, Cindy, because you
aw,
have like this soft and beautiful way of expressing yourself but keeping an open mind.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yes, yes.
Really.
I I just yell and throw it out the window. Boy, that's stupid. That's wrong. And you're like, well, maybe Beethoven said, keep it simple, and maybe that's what this is. I could go on and on
But
about,
maybe not that simple. No,
but
sometimes I'll tell you, back when I lived in Wyandotte, it was a neighborhood. I'm out in the country now, but then it was a neighborhood, and the family next to us, they had two older teenage boys. They would drive home late at night, and you'd hear their bass going boom, boom,
uh-huh.
and it was always the same um, phrase over and over again. There was no change. It was boom, 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 boom. And it never changed. It never changed. It just went
Mm-hmm.
on and on. And I thought, what kind of song is that it would sound like that? It's just, it can't be too interesting or, I mean, I don't know. It wouldn't make me want to, it wouldn't make me feel in any way because isn't that what music is about? It makes you feel
Mm-hmm.
certain things, and I just don't think I would feel anything after a while. We just like the same, kind of like disco when you think about it. That
Yeah.
boom, boom,
That's so interesting. Now, the numbing effect is it may be what they're going for, you know?
oh, could
It's
be.
almost like drugs or alcohol. It's like just to numb out and uh, not
Well, I
think
wonder.
about the state of the world or whatever and
It
not
could.
express that poetry and the beautiful feelings that classical music or some modern music is able
Mhm.
to
Oh,
produce.
yeah.
So maybe, yeah, the point is to numb out, I think.
Kind of almost like a music to like if you meditate and you use music, sometimes it draws you in, and that's the same rhythmic over and over again. That would probably guide you into some sort of meditation, or so yeah,
Hmm,
that could be it. That could very well be it.
that's so interesting, though. Wow, the the deep bass as a meditation tool. Nobody's thought of that, I don't think. New
Oh,
marketing plan
new marketing
for,
plan. Well, it
for
has all the vibrations to it,
yeah,
and you
yeah,
would feel that. It seems like it's something to try anyway. I think it would be a good
interesting.
try.
See, your open mind. I
Oh my
love it.
goodness.
No, my goodness, it's so fantastic. And I just have this deep visceral reaction to things. I get so triggered and
Yeah,
so
well,
angry.
I do too. I do the same thing. So, so you got married and
Hmm.
it was not a good marriage, the first marriage. Yeah.
No.
Did it start out good?
It was desperation on my part.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I have to say, he is a writer, a poet,
Okay.
um, and introduced me to much, so much art, not music, but art,
Okay.
modern art
Mm-hmm.
and modern poetry that I'm very grateful for. But he was an alcoholic and a drug addict, and it was like I was my mother again. I'm the one who
Oh,
worked and kept us afloat. And when we had two children, that just got to be more and more of a challenge. So
like you were in
yeah.
the marriage alone.
Say that again.
Like you were in the marriage alone.
Yes, I was a single mother from the minute my first daughter was born. He just wanted nothing to do with it. He
Oh,
still wanted to, you know, do
hang
his
out,
thing.
do his thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
My late husband was kind of like that too. There was a period of time when I stopped all of that because I did partake. I drank, did drugs
Oh, me too.
early,
Yeah.
early on. And there came a point in life where you just stop, enough's enough. I'm not doing this anymore. And I was fine with that. So it's been over 20 years for me, since I had a drink or, any of that stuff. So, but for him, he couldn't stop till like about 5 years before he passed. He did
Oh,
stop.
uh-huh.
But when someone is on drugs or in that state where they're drinking and doing drugs, you're by yourself. You're not in a relationship really to speak of. You are on your own. And that's the way it felt for all those years, like, okay, he's there and I'm over here, I'm doing this, and we lived separate lives for all
Hmm.
that time until he
Hmm.
quit. But then he was sick and he needed me. Not that I'm complaining, I really am not. He needed someone to look after him, and
Of
so,
course. Yeah.
so that's what I did. You know,
Yeah.
you gotta,
No, and that's what we do as
you
women,
gotta do
even
what
if
you
we
gotta do.
don't love or like the partner anymore. How do you walk away when someone is sick? Or,
You can't. I couldn't. I wouldn't feel
no,
good about myself if I'd have walked away for sure.
exactly.
And we were more, at by that time, just we'd known each other. We'd been together for almost, let's see, 35 years.
Wow.
And maybe I'm trying to think, we ate 75, 39 years, 39 years. And so, you know each other. We
Hmm.
were in love at lust maybe at one time. Um, but it became more of a deeper friendship, I think, more than anything.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good thing at the end. But anyway, so you divorced him and you,
I did. Um, yes. I got, and then I met Mr. Wonderful like 18 months later.
oh,
So,
wow, okay.
and I just, yeah, I haven't spent a lot of time alone since I was married, I guess. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't know how to be alone as a grown up. And yeah, but we met on Match.com,
Mm-hmm.
and I felt like I hit the lottery. I'd never known a man because my husband was such a
I understand.
putz, and a lot of my relationships with men were bullying and abusive, so I didn't know what a good man was
Yes.
until I met Tony, and I was like, wow, you really exist outside of a fairy tale. And he hates it when I say that because he just, you know, gets. I for a long time I put him on a pedestal,
Oh,
and
okay.
lost myself, lost myself again, and
Okay.
found myself with his help because he refused to be put on that pedestal. I mean, he's wise and kind and intuitive.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I yeah. So we have an amazing relationship right now. And we
That's
have for a long, long time.
You've been
Yeah.
together for how long now?
We met, oh, this is so weird. Our first date was the same date as my first marriage, December 11th.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And and yeah, it was 3 months after 9/11. So I don't know what that means, but yeah, and I
Huh.
haven't let go of him since.
Well, good.
So was that 2001? Was that 9/11? 2000? I don't know.
2000, 9/11 was 2001. Yeah, I think it
Okay.
was 2001. Yeah. Wow.
That's another one of my oddities. Linear time makes no sense to me.
Okay.
Um, I don't remember years things happened or anything. So, okay, 2001. So we've known each other 22 years. We've
Okay.
been married since 2006. I can't do the math. 17 years, something.
2006, 16. Yeah. Uh,
Maybe 18. I
18
don't know.
years, 18 years. It'll be 18 years this year, 2024.
Thank you.
Yeah. And that's
That
something?
yes, it does. It does.
Yeah.
So you met your Mr. Wonderful after your husband passed?
Yeah, after he passed away, I was on my own for a couple of years and I had a cancer scare for colorectal cancer. And honestly, I was okay on my own. I was fine. But I asked myself, because, when something like that happens, you have to think about what's going on in your life. And I wondered if, is this how I want to spend my life? Do I want to spend it alone? I mean, some people are perfectly fine with that. And I probably would have been, but I felt, I had more to share, and
Mhm.
I like companionship, and so I thought, yeah. And it's so funny because I one day was just thinking about it and I ticked off in my head what I wanted in a partner, and this website, it was Dating for Hippies. I probably told you this. It's
Oh, how
hilarious. And
fun.
I just saw this and I thought, oh, I've got to see this. And I wasn't even thinking about, like I would do anything with it, but there was Rocky's picture. And I went, oh my goodness. Well, that's, interesting. So I thought, well, and they had a whole thing to fill out, believe it or not. And it was all, what and you probably did the same thing, what your what you like to do, hobbies and
Right.
core values and even religion and that sort of thing. And so
Mm-hmm.
um we just hit it off,
Neat.
everything matched up so well. And that probably is how it worked out for you as well. Um and that's a good thing. I mean, it's a relationship I've never had before. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and
Me
in a
too.
very good way, I mean, we are best friends. We spend a lot of time together because we're both retired, and you probably too, but
Mm-hmm.
um it's never an issue. It's always okay. You would think you would get sick of each other or something like that, but it never
Right.
happens.
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting. I think, getting married or partnered, excuse me, later in life when you're more mature and you know
Mhm.
your heart, your head, really makes a difference.
It
And
does. You have more patience. And
mhm,
if something happens, this makes me laugh. But you think in your head, you're thinking, "Oh,
mhm,
do that. But then you think, I can't say that because it's going to hurt his feelings and he did the best that he could or whatever. I mean, he probably does the same thing with me too. I'm not
mhm,
saying it's all one-sided, but that's if you're older, you're mature enough to know that words hurt
right.
and there's other ways of handling things than, just being angry and
Absolutely. Yeah. Um,
because in my
I'm
younger years, I did shoot off my mouth a few, more than once, many times. So that's why I say that.
wow. Yeah, I attribute I get Tony's an astrologer, so
Oh, okay.
I get so much insight from the things he shares. And
Oh,
I'm
God.
I'm an Aries rising, which is ruled by Mars. There's Mars in my chart or whatever, and so I'm
Mhm.
like going to battle all the time,
Oh,
uh,
okay.
and just shooting my mouth off, like I was saying, and um, learn to temper that feelings,
Hmm.
because someone else's feelings, and
Yes.
yeah, that's so interesting. As you get older, you get more sensitive. And I guess, again, because you know yourself, it's one of those things like, I wouldn't want to be treated that way.
No.
So,
And you
you
don't know
know,
what's going on in the other person's
that's
life.
it.
And so you have to take that into consideration when you um, react to something that you might not particularly like.
Sure. Yes.
Yeah. So, so you got divorced, you started your life over, and then you met Mr. Wonderful. And so then you're saying, this is probably the last thing that we talk about, but Wicca, it didn't appeal to you, but the goddess worship did. So what made you go in that direction, the goddess worship?
Well, those few years that I was between marriages or whatever, I knew I needed women. I knew I needed women friends.
Okay,
And
yes,
when you're in a partnership and you have children, there's not a lot of time.
right.
And I'm not great at making friends. So um joining
Neither
a
am I.
well, how does that even work?
I
Yeah.
know it's confusing to me. It's
It
like,
is. It
mhm,
is. It's an introverted thing, I
it
guess. Yeah,
is.
and our I why I was a weirdo, just very awkward. Um so I yeah, I was involved with the Unitarian Universalist Church in
Okay.
those days, and um, they had a course called Cakes for the Queen of Heaven, and it's really it's really interesting, but it just brought women's spirituality right,
Hmm.
right there, and oh, God, that was like awakening for
Hmm.
me, that women could come together and it wasn't a coffee clatch because that's boring, or
Yeah,
just talk about your kids.
yeah.
I crave meaningful conversation, and this was it. And so from there, I thought, okay, um, let's look into Wicca because earth-based
Hmm.
spirituality was very appealing. Also, having this is another story, having rejected um, church, Protestant church,
Hmm.
and yeah, that was traumatic. But I didn't. I wanted it to be just women. I just, no offense to any male identifying person or whatever.
Hmm.
Um, right now in our culture, when there's in my estimation, when there's male energy in the room, it can really take over if you let it.
Hmm.
Do you know what I mean? And
Yes.
that sounds so shitty, and I don't mean it to sound shitty, but women we just need our voices to be heard amongst each other
Hmm.
in a safe space. Because, as my experience and yours too, when you share your experience in a mixed space or with other men, you're laughed at best, or
Hmm.
squashed,
Hmm.
verbally or physically at worst. So,
Hmm.
no, I don't want to
Yes.
be in a sacred space with men. Now, Goddess Temple is different,
Hmm.
and because I can control the
Hmm.
space. That
Yes.
I don't mean to say control, but
No, I know what you mean. I know exactly.
and the what goes on in there,
Keep
and
it going in the direction you want it to go.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So I felt, especially the Gerald Gardner kind of school was a little too much testosterone for my
Mhm.
liking. You know,
Oh, you're
it's
right, I agree.
it's just very patriarchal.
Hmm.
So yeah, that was right out. And then this group I was in kind of really introduced me to the goddess and then all her iterations as throughout history. And that is, as the more I learn, the more I love, um, love the goddess energy that just has permeated millennia since the very beginning. Um, I love anthropology too, so it, the scientist in me or whatever, really it helps me understand a culture at the time. You
Hmm.
know, I don't know if I'm making any sense,
No,
but
you do make
that's part
sense.
of what I really love about learning and exploring and celebrating the divine feminine
Mhm.
as much as I can.
I've never done any goddess um I don't want to say worship, but uh the like your class, the goddess temple. I've never been to any classes like that. Or that wasn't even a class. That was more of a ceremony with a would you call it
Hmm.
that?
It,
Um,
yes, yeah. A
which was
ceremony was part
beautiful.
of it, but it was temple. It was temple.
Okay. Um, and I felt like I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed learning about Kaliach. I'm not saying it, I'm no Kaliach.
Yeah,
Um,
yes, you have to at the
you
end.
have to, but I learned I mean, I learned about her. I didn't really, I don't even think I knew about her before, quite honestly. And I felt her, you know,
Mhm.
um, when we did the meditation, and I just felt the warmth and the comfort that she would she's giving you, you know, that
Mhm.
that is her, that, you know, that keeping you comfortable and warm and just patting you on the back and, you know, just
That's that's exactly it. And to be honest, I didn't know that much about Kaliach until a month before, but that's kind of my process.
mhm,
Um, I'll choose a goddess or she'll choose me, and then I
mhm,
take a deep dive. And I learn so much and I love so much what what I'm presented with or whatever. But um yeah, she's and at the same time, you know, she's got this cave and this warmth for you at the same
mhm.
time. The winter is raging and she's causing um you know, all of this kind of chaos around you.
Mhm.
And the whole point, and I'm sorry I'm going on about this, but
No,
that's what
that's okay.
I felt, is to force you almost into your own cave
Yes,
and rest and feel loved and protected there so that you can rest, so that you can dream, so that you can
go
find your
inward.
authenticity again.
Go inward.
Yes, right.
Find who you are again. Yeah, I love that. Okay, so I'm going to end it right there. Thank you so much for this. This was very enjoyable. I love
Oh, me
talking to
too.
you. Um, uh, we'll have to do this again. We'll catch up
Oh,
and
I, yes,
see how
yes.
we're all progressing in the future. Um, I want to tell everyone, thank you for watching this. This is Crones. It's called Crones. For all of us Crones.
Love
Um,
it.
uh, and thank you for watching. We'll see you soon.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you for the
Bye.
opportunity. So
Thank
honored.
you.
Thank you,
Blessings.
Cindy. Blessings.
Okay. I don't know how to shut this off. Stop video. Okay. Okay. I don't know how to stop this.
Oh, it,